good afternoon. Or is it good evening? I don't know where you all are because you need to say so if you are in another time zone, or if you're someplace else, you can type in the chat wherever you are. But here it is good afternoon. We want to kick this amazing show off on the road. So welcome, karibuni sana 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 sana. Feel at home, feel at everything, feel awesome, feel which way you want to feel. But this afternoon, things are going down nicely. Very, very, very nicely. That is how they are going down. And so here we are, yet again, yet again. Yet another month has rolled by. Can you believe that? Can you just absolutely believe that we were here 1 month ago? I can't believe it. Time is really flying. Jaguna says, good afternoon. You're glad to be here. We are glad you are here. Karibu sana. We have our regular Q&A, our regular webinar that we have once a month. And we want to be able to discuss many things that will improve ourselves, improve our businesses, improve our lives, improve every single thing that we want to improve. And that's what we are doing for this 1 hour. 1 hour. And we promise you that this 1 hour is going to be an hour that is full of learning, full of insights, full of new knowledge, full of reminders, full of things that we need to start, we need to stop, we need to continue. So tighten your seatbelt because we are flying high, we are soaring, we are just floating like a drone, hovering over everything. So I hope that's how you feel this afternoon. So welcome, welcome, welcome. And to get this jump started, let me tell you, and when someone says, let me tell you, you better listen to them. So let me repeat that. Let me tell you who we have this afternoon with us. Yay! This afternoon, we are talking about where brand and customer experience converge, where brand and experience management find a sweet spot, find home, find a nexus, or whatever vocabulary you want to throw in there. This, I'm excited because this was a request. This was a persuasion from the team in the group. And we need to talk about this. And we're like, oh, yes, we really do need to talk about this. And so here we are talking about it. And we have Tom Sitati to take us through this great conversation. Who is Tom Sitati? Now, if you don't know Tom Sitati, I don't know. You need to know people that want for PIPO, not people of people, but PIPO. That's the people you need to know. And so Tom is people. Tom is great at what he does. He's an architect, by training, by practice, great architect, great creative, does amazing work in that sense. He's also a brand strategist. Brand is his everyday. Brand is what he wakes up to, sleeps to, dreams about. He's been doing this for a very long time, like close to 30 years now, if you ask me. And so you can imagine we have 30 years of experience sitting in a room with us. Yeah, how amazing is that? He's an author as well, has written great books, which you need to run after. He speaks, keynote speaker as well, speaks, and just does all of this brand work around Africa, not just Kenya, around Africa and globally as well. So we have Tom with us. Tom, I want to sit at your feet this afternoon or morning or evening or whatever time. We want to hear from you. And so good people, here's Tom. Yes, Tom, please say hi to people. Please, Salimia, I want to say hi. Yeah.
Hi, people. And thanks, Carol, always enthusiastic, always energetic, always flattering.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I pray all those come to pass.
Yes.
So
they
I'm
have
happy,
already come to pass, Tom. What do you mean you hope? There's no for hope. As we know these things are already happening. Happening. Yeah. Yeah. So welcome. We want to talk. We want to have a discussion with you. And so to kick us off, we are talking about big things. Actually, the nexus, vocabulary, the nexus between experience management and brand. And before we even start talking about that, how about we just talk about what is brand? What is a brand? What is branding? What is this animal? It sounds like such a big thing, like a thing with many legs. What is brand, Tom? Just as simple as that. What's brand?
Brand is simple, but it's also difficult. What makes
Mm,
it difficult is because
mm,
everybody thinks they know what
mm,
brand is. And because everybody
mm,
knows what brand is, it becomes very difficult to have that conversation because
mm,
start with people already having very some clarity of one way or the other. And a lot of the clarity in quotation marks, is based
mhm,
on misconceptions. So I'll start by, if you like, debunking if you like, the different misconceptions of what brand is
mm,
not.
mm, mm.
A
What
brand
brand
is
is
not,
not?
is not a logo. That's not
Okay,
a brand. It's part of
okay,
it, but it's not a logo.
okay,
A brand is also not an advert. And I
okay.
hear a lot from smaller organizations which say branding we'll do later. Let's
Mm,
finish building our business, then we'll do
mm,
brand. This brand advertising and the like, we'll do it later.
mm,
So a brand is not a logo. The
mm,
brand is not advertising. A brand is also not just a name.
mm,
Because and I think it comes from Shakespeare, ask what's in a name? And a
mm,
name can have so many meanings. And that
mm,
by itself cannot be the brand. So those are three misconceptions of what a brand is supposed to be, or people think it is, and therefore it makes people say, let's deal with brand later, which is not true. I can tell
mm,
100% of the people listening and those not listening and those who maybe get the material after,
mm.
all of us have brands, whether in a way, almost whether we like it or not, we have a brand out there. And so I guess I'm going to
Mm,
answer the question. Like, so what's a brand? A brand is really, the way we define it, it's really a promise you make out there
mm, mm,
and a promise you do keep. So
mm,
about a brand is that you actually set your own marking scheme. You go out there,
mm,
you
mm,
promise something.
mm.
Really, you promise it explicitly, not implicitly.
Right,
And from there, you are judged on the promise that you have made out there. If you've
right,
promised to be
right.
very quick as a brand, it's what you have chosen. And you may not
Mm,
promise to be quick. You may promise we shall be efficient. Not quick, we
mm,
shall be efficient. We'll take our
mm,
time and
mm.
deliver.
Right.
So if you come across two brands, one has promised to deliver quickly, and the other one has said I'll be efficient. If the one that has promised to be to deliver quickly becomes efficient, they have failed,
Mm,
and vice versa. So you set your own
mm,
mark when it comes to brand. What have you promised out there? And then you start
mm.
going into all the other areas that start bringing out that promise. Be it name. That's now let me bring back the misconceptions. Be
Right,
it and does it start talking about you being fast and efficient, for example, or does the meaning grow into it? Because it works both ways. Does your communication, your advert, in whichever way, and now in the era of social media, AI, and all that, so advertising has changed. How we
right,
communicate has changed. So are you communicating that? You have to have decided what your promise is.
right,
You'd
right.
also, so that's the name, that's the adverts. That when it comes also to your identity, your logo,
Mm,
is your logo starting to say that? Or over
mm,
time, will you
mm,
get to start saying that? Because it's not always one
mm,
or the other. It's not always that.
mm.
Sometimes it works both ways, where a meaning grows into a name, and sometimes a name has meaning already. And in this
Okay.
world where a lot of names are already out there, what you'll probably find that you get yourself in a situation where you must grow a meaning into the name. Because a lot of the obvious names that have meanings that are explicit in the name are already taken. You'll probably find that.
Mm,
So
mm.
that's
Wow,
roughly to
wow,
just try
wow,
and narrow down the many words
wow,
I've said. And
wow,
then the
wow.
brand is the promise you make out there. So if we link it
Right.
to customer experience,
Mm.
and
Wait
for many,
faster a bit, Tom. Eh?
go ahead.
As you can see, I'm busy saying to everything
Yeah.
because you have said very philosophical things. That a brand is not a name, not a logo, not an advert. A brand is the promise you're making and keeping that promise, and that the brand must have meaning. And sometimes you need to grow the meaning into the brand and let it run like that. Or sometimes the meaning comes as a result of you having already grown and the meaning then gets loaded on. So this
Yeah.
thing that we think is brand before you head into how it links into experience management and customer experience, we think brand is physical things, Tom. My brand is my logo. What do you mean by telling me it's not my logo? It's my colors. My
Mm.
brand is my colors. It's how I look and feel. That's what we know as brand. Are you trying to tell us to throw away the knowledge that we have and put on new knowledge today? Is that what you're saying?
I'll say they are interconnected.
Yeah.
All those are part of brand, but in essence,
Mm,
let's give some examples. You have an
okay.
excellent logo, but you're not
Okay.
delivering. Will
Okay.
that excellent logo let customers allow customers to let you slide because you have a good logo?
Mm,
Probably
mm,
not. You have good
mm,
adverts out there. Will customers let you slide because they say, wow, they have good adverts, I'm okay with them? No, they won't. In fact,
mm,
if anything, it's going to be
mm,
opposite because your good adverts make probably a good promise. And if we don't keep
mm.
it, customers probably get even more annoyed. It's actually
Right.
better you kept quiet because
Right.
you didn't set a marketing scheme. Whether
Mm.
it's
I
your
really
logo
love that marking scheme
or your
thing.
advert,
What?
yeah.
Yeah. The marking scheme is the promise, right? This marking
The
scheme you're
marketing
talking
scheme is a
about is a
promise. You
promise.
set, yeah, you set your own marketing scheme.
Right, right.
And
I think
people will
that's wow.
customers actually quite fair. They will mark you by the marking scheme you set and put
Mm-hmm.
out. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
you have to communicate it. An
Right.
example of a client we worked with in the healthcare sector, I can't name them,
Yeah.
and they were known to be fast and efficient, quick,
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
because a lot of the market were not quick.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but there's this other brand we also worked with in the healthcare industry also, and
Mm-hmm.
you go there and you'll spend the whole day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's what they promise implicitly. Yeah? They never go to the whole day, but
Mm-hmm.
implicitly they have become that, which is sad. You
Mm-hmm.
don't become a brand. You don't want to become. You want to choose intentionally.
Right.
Many of us,
Right.
we have not chosen. We become.
We become.
So,
We become.
yeah, we become. It happens to you.
It
So,
happens to
both,
you. Like,
yeah,
wow. I've seen a comment there, but before we get into
but
it,
mm,
um, these things you're talking about, Storm, they sound like big things. Like this is for
mm,
the Safaricoms of this world. I've even seen the comment there about the Coca-Colas of this world, the KCB, the blue chips of this world. We have representation here of
mm.
small businesses and enterprises, households, startups, consultancies. Is this brand conversation for us or it's for the big boys with the big bucks? Yeah,
It's absolutely
Tom?
for you. That's why I was quickly removing logos and adverts, because that's where people run to. And as moment you mentioned adverts, especially, people say, when I get money, I'll do branding. But
Uh-huh.
your brand is actually, sorry, Carol, I'll jump ahead and link it to experience and we'll come back
Yes,
again.
yes, yes, sure,
The
sure.
branding eventually is that experience that you're giving your customers.
Right.
Whether you are selling a product or a service,
Mm,
as an experience around.
mm,
What are you
mm,
promising as an experience to that customer? Because
mm,
the brands eventually
mm.
are what you promise out there, and what you promise, the biggest thing you do to a client or a customer, even in relationships, is what you make somebody feel. So how are you going to
Right,
make the customer feel at the end of that experience? So it's
right.
for all of us, whether you're in a
Mm,
consultancy, you're in a
mm,
small shop, how do they feel? You go to the kiosk, the lady or the gentleman there says hi to you, asks you how your children are, how you doing, how are things. It does something that becomes their brand. They're actually building a brand based on relationship. It's a
mm,
brand. So you mentioned Coca-Cola. That is not a Coca-Cola thing. That is a thing that
mm,
I believe, almost anybody can relate with. You're in a
mm,
consultancy, you
mm.
deliver probably comprehensive work, you're able to go beyond what you've promised. That becomes your brand. Of let's talk to these guys.
Becomes your
They
brand.
deliver efficiently. They're able to go
Yeah.
beyond what they have said.
Mm,
They're able to
yeah.
come and they feel us. That becomes your.
Yeah.
So
That
it's
becomes
not
your
for the
brand.
Coca-Colas. And in all that, I've
Right.
not done any advert. It's
Yeah,
about
you
how you're
haven't.
interacting with that customer. And as you
Of
continue to
course.
interact with that customer, they refer other
Yeah.
customers, and that becomes
Yeah.
by mistake. You don't want to have a brand by mistake.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to have a brand by mistake. We need to set the marking scheme. It's about experience. It's about saying, I want to be reliable, I want to be trustworthy, I want to be fast, I want to be efficient, I want to be relational, or whatever the things you have said, which terms sound very customer experience and experience management like. It sounds like this brand conversation, Tom, is an experience management conversation because whatever you are talking about here is customer promises to the internal and external customers. So what is brand and what is experience? Because these two things seem like are we rewriting the script? Are we unlearning what we already know? Or what do you think? What are you saying?
They are linked because you could
Mm,
almost define brand as we say the brand is that promise, but you could also say the brand is a promise is a promise of a certain experience to a customer.
mhm.
Because eventually we are remembered for the experience, we be remembered for what we made customers feel, even for
Right.
product. We actually,
Yeah.
how did I feel at the end of that experience using that cooking oil?
Yeah.
How did I feel at the
Yeah.
end of the
Yeah.
experience using
Mm,
that engine oil? How did I feel at the end of the experience? Eventually, gets down to that. Well, we are
mm,
not, but with services, and I know many, Kenya is a largely service country. In services, it's even more intimately linked with the experience
mm,
because you have to have
mm,
people interacting, and that becomes
mm.
it. So you'll
Yeah.
find that the substance of what you're delivering is important, yes. And if anything, right now in this era of AI, the substance is not an issue. You can get substance anywhere. They
Okay.
say almost
Okay.
anything. But then beyond the substance, what else are you adding? What you're adding is
Mm,
actually the experience part. That's why they are
right.
linked. Yes.
Beyond the substance. That is a quotable quote and a tweetable tweet. We're not calling that thing X. We refuse. We have refused. It is a tweetable tweet beyond the substance. Beyond the substance. You're talking about feelings, eh? Tom,
Yeah.
feelings is a very customer experience management agenda. How
Yeah.
do we build that? How do we build this brand? You're talking about brand, eh? And I can see even in the chat, there's a question about brand promise, customer
Yeah.
promise. You know,
Mhm.
where are we at? What is the brand promise? What is that? And what is this? How do we build this thing? This feeling, this marking scheme, this beyond the substance? How do we build that, Tom? What's the Mwakenya, now that you're talking about marking schemes? What's the Mwakenya for that?
I wish there was an
Yeah.
easy answer for that, but to try and answer the question directly that I see in the chat that talks about what you have a brand promise, you have a customer,
Mm-hmm.
call it what a customer promise. I
Mm-hmm.
would say a customer is an important, but it's just one of your stakeholders.
Mm,
So you need to have an overarching promise, which is the brand promise, and then break it
mm,
down to the customer. And I guess
mm,
customer here, you're talking about the external customer, but
mm.
currently people mentioned there's an internal customer.
Yes.
There are other stakeholders around. There's your board, there's your management. There are many other stakeholders around. There's government, depending on what you're dealing with.
Yes.
There's other industry players. There are many
Yes.
stakeholders around. And what you want to do is find a promise that can cut across all of them, but translated in different ways because they have different interests. And any of you in PR would know they're different power gradients. Power influence
Mm,
gradient, you choose how you leverage that promise. But it's one promise. It's one
mm.
promise, and then you break it down. Customer being just one of the constituents. So,
So
yeah,
the
go ahead.
brand promise, sorry, I've interrupted you.
No,
I'm
go
I'm
ahead. Go ahead.
just yeah. I'm asking Tom. So this brand promise is the overarching promise for anything and everything that surrounds the brand is concerned about, and all the stakeholders that engage actively or inactively with the brand. And then customer promise is one of those things that
Yeah,
is tied to or relates to or aligns with the main brand promise. Is that
exactly.
it? Are we together?
We are together. The other thing we need to remember is that I'm not sure who's in the audience. There are those who are in for-profit businesses,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
those who are in non-profit businesses, which means they measure impact. For-profit, of course, measure profit. There are
mm-hmm,
those in government, and theirs is about citizens.
mm-hmm,
Those are three organizations I can think of right now,
mm-hmm,
and they have different stakeholders,
mm-hmm.
they have different promises, and they need to break them down.
Right.
So,
So do we have
but
to have many different promises?
it's one promise. What you're doing is
Okay.
translating it. The reason I
Okay.
mentioned those three is because eventually you have a big goal that is probably in your business plan or your strategic plan or if it's a country, you have a vision 2030, all that. If it doesn't serve that, it becomes a nice to have. And you
Nice to
start
have.
becoming, if you're assuming the heads of customer experience, you become irrelevant if you're not
Mm,
connecting with that
mm,
big picture. If you're a
mm,
profit business. We have said we're making 2 billion this year, we're making 2 million this year, whatever it is, 300,000, whatever it is. If you're not connecting to that, then it becomes a nice thing to have. That's why people say, let's finish doing business, then you come talk
Mm,
to us. It
mm,
must connect.
yeah,
It must
yeah,
connect. And if
right.
anything, we have all those to serve the big picture. It's easy to forget
Mm,
that we actually have the big picture comes, it actually comes first.
comes fast.
But this serve each
Yeah,
other.
wow,
Because you
wow,
can't
wow.
make profit if you
Yeah,
don't have customers. So you
right.
have a good brand promise that
Mm,
becomes what you may call a customer promise that now makes sure that you're able to be profitable because you're able to get the most out of your customers, make them happy as they make you happy because you have different goals,
you
which
do.
at some point they have to meet.
Mm,
Yeah.
You know, Tom, you're a philosopher. I told people here that you're a philosopher, and I can see for sure you're in the league of
Right.
Aristotle, Socrates, and all of that. These things sound so big, Tom. Talk to me in my business, my small business. Yeah. How do I build this brand? Because, like you've said, in my small business, me, I'm chasing sales, Tom. I'm chasing
Mhm.
sales. What is this
Okay.
branding thing? I need money to grow. I need money to scale. I need money to pay my few workers that I have. I need money to hold the business together. This branding thing sounds like some fluffy something out there for the big organizations.
Okay.
Talk to me as a business. Where do I start and what do I need to do with this brand agenda? Yeah.
It's not simple, but let me try and simplify it.
Yes.
It There's a reason customers buy from you or work with you.
Mhm.
That reason generally is your brand.
Okay.
You need
Okay.
to find out what that is.
Find out what
So
that
if
is.
I was to
Okay.
ask, I don't know how many small businesses are here. If I was to ask a
Mhm.
small business, a simple exercise to do to bring it down to earth,
Yes.
a few of your customers, get 5, 6 of your good customers. I would say even get 5, 6 of your bad customers,
Mhm.
and ask them, why do you buy from me? Why do you work with
We
me?
do.
Why don't you
Yes.
work with others?
Yes.
You'll probably find a red thread running through that
Mm.
starts, and I'll say starts informing what your
Mm.
brand is.
Mm.
You might be shocked by what they tell you. They'll say, buy from you. I don't know about the quality of your product, but you're nice to us, for example. That's just
Right.
telling. That's your power. You might think that you are efficient, but people say, no, I'm not in a hurry. I like that
Mm.
you actually give me a
Mm.
good quality product, for
Mm.
example.
Mm. Mm.
So there are many, or I like that you just talk to me.
Mm.
Like others were
Mm.
transactional of quick, let's finish this.
Right.
So you'll find
Right.
different, those in a way start becoming, it starts telling you what your brand is. Because one of the
Mm.
tragedies I see with businesses I've consulted with, they don't know why they're winning.
Mm.
They don't know why they're winning.
I don't know why they are
Having a
winning.
vehicle running, you don't know why it's running. And so you go and tinker and remove the engine.
Uh-huh.
Then you find, oh, this is why it runs.
Mm.
So that exercise I've suggested starts telling you why you're running. It just gives you what
Mm.
it is. Don't remove it. But you have to find what it is first.
Yeah.
That's how I
Okay.
hope it's not too philosophical. I hope
No, it's
that,
not. It's not.
yeah,
Actually, I've come here because I want to tell you, Tom, how you
yeah,
should just be, head of experience management because the things you are saying are just experience management things, voice of the customer, voice of the stakeholder. Find out the customers why. Find out and understand why they buy from you, what's going on, what they like, what they don't like, why are you winning, what are you winning at, so that we do more of that and less of what we think we should be doing and the customers are not appreciating. Stop talking to ourselves, talk to the people in the language they can understand. I've just said all manner
yeah.
of customer experience things. So the question I'm asking now is why is there customer experience and brand, and yet these two things seem to
They're
be
together.
the
They're the same.
same. So
Mhm.
this nexus we are talking about is more or less the same thing. So
Yeah.
how do we get ourselves wired into that? How do we get ourselves as businesses at whatever level we are at?
Mhm.
Government, not-for-profit, social enterprise, businesses, households, consultancies, startups, whatever. How do we get ourselves to understand that we should start with this and not do it later? What's that? What's the magic bullet? What's the silver bullet there? How do we start?
I think talk to your accountant, and you'll find that if the customers are not paying, there's a problem. It's
Mhm.
existential. If the customers are not paying, they're not coming in, there's an
Mhm.
existential issue. Existential
Mhm.
issue in terms of you cannot, I think it stands to reason But I don't know why you probably not appreciate enough that without customers, there's no business. Without customers, without stakeholders, I'm talking about NGOs, there's nothing you're doing. Why are you getting donor funding? And you have stakeholders who are not getting a right experience. If your government and the citizens are not happy, there's nothing you're doing. So it starts there. I don't know what brain transplants we would need, including myself, to be able to see that every day. Put at the center, it should be the first item on the agenda when there's a board meeting or a management meeting of where are we with the customers? Because without customers, we don't exist. I know we say it, but I'm not sure we mean it. And that's what we need to do. We always say customers first and all that, but I'm not sure we mean it as much as we do. We end up like anybody here is in the IT field, you end up just doing your programming and that becomes it. But without the customer, it's a nice thing to do here. It becomes a technical thing. You do, say you're in soap manufacturing, you're doing good soap, but then where's the customer? That's what we need to change and realize. And when you talk to your best customers, that will give you that realization that actually, if I wasn't doing this, I would have no business.
Right.
Without these guys,
Talk
I have
to
no
the
business.
customers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Talk to the customers. I think we're picking that up, proactively talk to them and
Yeah.
find out their why for
Mhm.
you, their why, what's moving them,
Yeah.
what's causing
Yeah.
them to come back, what's
Mhm.
causing that stickiness. We need to stick close to the CFO, to the accountant, to the finance manager. We need to track the numbers, because if there are no customers, there's no business. That's exactly what you have said. And right from the boardroom level, whatever boardroom looks like, whether it is founder, co-founder, whether boardroom is government, non-government, whatever the boardroom looks like, this conversation must be there. So what do we do, Tom? There's a
Sorry, let me interrupt
question.
you with let me interrupt you with the CFO, which people ignore.
Yes.
The reason that customer has not paid despite a service is probably a customer experience matter. You
Mm,
don't have a relationship. So it's probably the
mm,
reason why you are last on the list. They're probably paying other people. Why aren't they paying?
mm. Wake up call. Why are they not paying me?
Yeah.
I need to, here I have many pending customer
It's not a
payments. Tom,
it's not
are you trying to say that, what are you trying to say? I have many pending customer payments. Is it that I need to call myself to a meeting behind the blue tent because
there are the
today is a
extraneous
blue
factors,
day?
but
Or
you'll find that that is also a factor. Those
right.
who are not paying, those who have gone mute, relationship, the customer
Yeah,
experience issue.
relationship.
Yeah.
And relationship is experience. That is it.
Yeah.
Nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah.
You know, Tom, we ask people to ask questions in advance so that when you come here, you can answer them. There's a question
Mhm.
that came in that says, I've inherited a brand. I'm working for a brand that is
Mhm.
already in existence. What can I
Yes.
do as an experience management professional to turn things around with a brand? So if you find things are already in place, Tom, what can we do to influence things or to cause them to shift or transform? What can we do about that?
They sound like they've inherited a brand that has issues. That's what
That's
it
what it
sounds.
sounds like. Yes,
That's what it
yes,
sounds like.
yes, yes.
It's amazing how customers value the fact that you just reached out
Hmm.
and just checked. Okay,
Hmm.
where are we? Just that. When we do one of the things we do in doing brand consultancy is we do a lot of interviews. We interact with customers many stakeholders, one of them being customers, key. And we talk to customers. And they're always like, wow, you've been sent by this client to talk to us. We are so
Mhm,
happy. And they sit and
mhm,
we tell them 120 minutes, they talk for an hour. There's one who talked for 4 hours. In fact, there's one who said, I think there's one, and he was pretty senior. I went into this session, and the first thing they said is, I don't have time. Like, okay, fine. I just have one
mhm,
question. And I asked
mhm,
that one question, and they talked for 1 hour. They
mhm.
value, if I'm to answer that question, the customers value so much getting some attention. So the
Right.
first thing she needs to do or he needs to do is go around and just speak to the customers, check where are we?
Where are we?
And they'll be
Where are
told
we?
things, they may be told a lot of negative things, and then you'll know things have turned when they tell you, what do we do? What do we do now?
Mm,
It becomes we,
mm,
not you. What
mm,
do we do? How do we
mm.
sort this out? So
Right.
again, it goes back to something that sounds so simplistic, but just talk to them.
Yeah.
You're
The
there, I'm here to
simplicity.
listen, I'm here to talk. It's as simple as that. So once she does that, she'll get an idea of where the issues are, what the problem may
Mm,
be, but she'll already have
mm,
won, or he already have won
mm,
by just
mm,
being available.
mm,
Because you'll find most
mm.
likely where what she's inherited, there was no availability to interact.
Right.
So Be available first. Then you'll get some insights which will now tell you, okay, the things to fix. But the things to fix are not purely about what you're told. You're told, do this, you do. No, it can't be. Remember, you're in a business, or you're in
Yes.
a non-profit, or you're in government.
Yes.
Therefore, you need to go back and ask how that aligns to what you're trying to achieve.
All
It's not
right.
purely about, people say listen to the customer and give them what, it's
Mm,
not listen to the customer and give them what they want. Listen
mm,
and actually really listen to the customer and give them what
mm.
they, not what they want, what they actually need.
Right. I was going to
Yeah.
ask another question that came in, but I've seen something similar to what you've said right now. Dan Boria is asking, so one of my customers wants fast, and one of my customers wants something else. And I'm listening to the voice of my customer. And we've said here in experience management, talk, 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 listen, listen, listen. So do I know whether to go this way or that way? How do I ensure that I am not going whichever which way? How do I address, with inclusivity? Because for experience management, we say, inclusivity is a big thing. How do I handle inclusivity with the different needs and wants of my customer? Tom, how do we handle that?
Okay, you can't adapt to every customer. It's not possible. Customers, it's you meet somewhere. Customers, again, I'll go back to what are you trying to do as a business? What are you capable of? Based on what you're capable of, you go out and say, this is what I'm capable of.
Right.
Please welcome.
Mm,
What you're saying indirectly is also, I'm not capable of this other one. So what will
mm.
happen, what should happen naturally, and I know it's not always hard and fast, is those who are
Yes.
attracted to what you said you'll do will come. Those who are not will not come. And so
Mm,
you end up sifting, whether you like it or not. There's no product or service that is for everyone. None. People will say
mm,
Coca-Cola, it's not true. That's why they have
mm,
variants. There's no
mm,
product or service that's for completely everybody. So you find
mm.
that you can't serve everyone. You'll
Yeah.
decide this is what I'm promising, this is what I can deliver, and therefore you choose. You
Right.
choose because you can't serve everyone, but you might find some things are not contradictory.
So
Yeah.
we should analyze and see
Some are not contradictory,
what can
yes.
merge, what are not mutually
Yeah.
exclusive.
Yeah.
And you're saying we are not for everybody, so we need to know who we are for. And that's
Yeah.
defined by our big picture, vision, mission, mandate. And
Yeah.
what is the promise? I go back to what you were saying. What's the
Yeah.
real promise? So it's okay to drop some people along the way. Tom, is that what you're saying?
You will drop some people along the way naturally. There's no brand,
Mm,
my knowledge, that serves
mm,
completely everyone. No.
yeah, yeah. There's
And
a question that,
or there's no brand
sorry,
that
go
serves
ahead.
everyone every time. There's also something, and sorry, that's philosophy now. There's also occasions of use where they need you at certain times, they don't need you at certain times. It happens. So there's no brand that can
Occasion
serve
of use.
everyone every time.
Right. Occasion of use. We are into philosophy this this day. We shall
Mhm.
come back to that. There was a question on salvaging a damaged brand. But before we go into that, Tom, what you've said right now reminds me of what people say about your personal brand. That if I ask you, Tom, to step out of this meeting room right now, put off your camera and step away, and I ask all the close to 45 people in the room to talk about you, whatever they say when you're not there, that's your brand, that's who you are. That's what people say when you're not in the room, whether you like it or you don't like it. So, with regards to businesses, because we're here for business, for corporates, for not for profit, for government, and whatever, does that apply? Is it what people are saying about you, Tom, or is it your mission, your vision, and who you stand for, and what you are all about? Where does that come together?
It's generally true. It's what people will say about you when you're in the room. It's generally, I think that's a quote from Jeff Bezos. It's generally
Yes.
true. Generally true.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I hesitating is because it depends how you've worked on your brand. If
Uh-huh.
you've been
Uh-huh.
intentional, you pray that what they say is what you are aiming for. If you have
Okay.
not worked on it intentionally, it will become by default what you have been doing. So what do you want to
Mm.
do? You want to make sure you're intentional. That's why I said go around, check what your brand is. You have an idea
Mm.
of what it is. It's a whole process, but I'm giving you a simple way to look at it. Based on that, do that consistently. And if you do it consistently, you can almost guarantee that when you leave the room and you ask, what about this brand? You'll get generally not the same answer per se, but you'll get a red thread that runs through all those answers.
Mm.
So
Consistency
they're
is the
back to
name
your,
of the
yeah.
game, right?
Yeah, they're again philosophy. They're like 3 C's of branding.
Yeah, tell us before I ask you the next question. Now we are
Consistency.
in class, Tom. We're in philosophy. Tell
Consistency
us
is
the
one of
three
them. Huh?
C's. Uh-huh.
Consistency is one of them.
Uh-huh. The other two, you can't leave us hanging. We refuse suspense. Tell us the
Okay,
other two.
consistency, and they're not necessarily in order, but if I put them in order, I would start with clarity.
Okay.
And that's what I was asking you to do at the far, or asking us to do, all of us, including
Yes.
myself,
Mm-hmm.
of can we get clarity first? Clarity will
Okay.
tell you what experience you're promising. Clarity will tell you who to promise it to and who not to
Mm,
promise it to. Because you promise to
mm,
the wrong people, you will fail.
mm.
So clarity is one.
Okay.
The other one is consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Consistency is what will allow you to have the same brand regardless of who you ask. And same brand, not the same words, the same general meaning. That's why I'm saying a red thread will run through those answers.
Uh-huh.
And then there's something, and it's not a proper English word, but they call it constancy, which means
Mm,
you are doing the same thing over and over and over again over time. They're very linked with consistency. Consistency is about
mm,
the same thing. Constancy is about over and over again. If you
mm,
do that, it's
mm.
unlikely you'll step out of the room and people will have 16 different answers.
Got
They'll
you.
have the
Got you.
general
Got you.
same answer, not exact same
Mm,
words, because English
got
is,
you.
all our languages are complicated, but you'll have a red thread running through all those answers.
Got you, Tom. And I think you have answered a question that was asked about how do we build a strong brand. You have already answered that by these three C's. Because I'm imagining for sure, if I have clarity, I know who I am for and who I'm not for. I know what I am and what I am not. And then I have consistency. I am just very consistent. What you see is what you get. What you say is what you do consistently. And I have a constancy. I am permanently over and over and over and over doing that. It cements it. I imagine that is what would build a strong brand, Tom. Is that so?
Yeah, there are many other ways, but that's one simple way of how you'd build your strong brand.
Okay.
Remember, none of
Okay.
that has talked about a logo,
Yes.
talked about any advert. We've not
Yes.
talked about any name,
Yes.
because eventually that is pretty much an experience that you're
It's
putting
an
out there.
experience.
And then, of
Yeah.
course, signaled by your name,
Yes.
it's signaled by your logo,
Yes.
it's signaled in a way and communicated by the communication you put out there, which whether it's advertising and the like.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm. Put
So
first things
we
first,
confuse, yeah,
indeed.
we confuse, and that's why I'll say that we confuse the signals with the substance.
Mm. We confuse the signals with the substance. Today we are in tweetable tweets and quotable quotes and great philosophy, and we are speaking brand and experience management. This lunch is sound very hot here. I think we are on to a fantastic trajectory. Tom, let me ask you the last question before we see whether we can take in new questions over and above those that already came in, which is how we do it. There was a question around how do you salvage a damaged brand, Tom? And in this age of social media, your brand, and we have seen it, Tom. We've seen catastrophes. A brand can go down in a day. And people don't even wait to clarify or verify or validate or anything. It's just bam, bam. A brand assassin can decide to jump on you and you're so doomed. How do we salvage a damaged brand? What could we do? Some quick tips, kindly.
Not an easy one. I'll talk about a bank we did some work for. I can't name
Mm,
it again.
yes.
And they suffered from pretty much well, let's call it a brand assassin or assassins out there.
Mm-hmm.
Banks are scary because once you have something called a run on your bank, you're
Yes.
dead.
You're
Because
dead.
everybody has a right to ask for all their money now. And the truth is no bank has all
Mm,
your money sitting there.
mm,
Yeah.
mm,
Sorry. They don't have it. They have their
mm.
ratios and they try and stick to that. But if there's a run on the bank, there's an issue. How did that,
Yes.
I'm using that as an example. How did that bank manage to salvage its reputation?
Mm,
Because it had its 3 C's going for
mm,
its real customers. Because you have a lot of customers, not real. Not all your customers
mm.
are real customers. Some of them just give you money. They're not your
Yes.
customers. They're
Okay.
not.
Okay.
Sorry, another whole philosophy.
Okay. But you can't leave us there, Tom.
So I'll answer I'll come round to
And
it.
yeah,
If they
you
do,
please people make sure he comes back and tells us how people give you money and not your customers. Okay, proceed, tell.
they went to their real customers, people they could who they had a relationship, and told them, guys, we are actually okay. Forget about these
Mm,
things. Because they had held on
mm,
to the three C's and these were their
mm,
real customers, those customers
yes.
were they didn't withdraw their money. Those who could, on request, added money to make sure that
Oh,
bank added added their
wow.
deposit to make sure those who are not the others who could easily run scared, who are not your committed customers, could be paid and they
Mm,
go away without having an issue where they have to close the bank and say, come for your money in 3 months or whatever it is.
mm,
So
mm,
you go back to your real customers will probably stick with you. That's where you
mm.
start. That's your first defense.
Awesome.
Go to your
Right.
customer first. Because
Mm,
those first customers
mm,
are probably going to talk to not many, but a few people. And that would make
mm.
that's one. There are many ways because it depends on the scenario. Back to
Right.
back to real customers. Real
Wait,
customers.
Tom, wait,
uh,
please, please. There's just too much knowledge, too much
okay.
wisdom, too much philosophy flowing. I just want to hold something you have said there, pin, as we say, put a pin on it. I'm going back to the story of how there is no difference between band and experience management, because the thing you've talked about right now is what we talk about in experience management, about emotional banking, that we
Mhm.
need to bank emotionally and have our customers, you know, our customers banks filled emotionally with delight, so that the day we need to withdraw from that bank, the emotional bank, like you were saying, to withdraw and then tell the customers, don't go anywhere. This is just fluff. This is not true. And then them coming to support, them coming to rescue, them coming to the floor when we need them on the floor of the house. We can't withdraw if there was nothing in the bank. And so
That's true.
that tenet you have spoken about is a very, very important one in experience management, that we need to bank constantly. So we are filling the bank with great delight, with great customer experiences, with customers feeling fulfilled. So at the day this brand assassin shows up, it doesn't matter. The emotional bank is full. Yeah.
Just
So
to echo your thought,
yes.
it's the same thing with relationships between human beings,
Mm.
where if I hear Carol has done XYZ,
Yes.
if you have not banked, been depositing our relationship in terms of the emotional bank, to use your
Yes.
language,
Yes.
what I'll
Yes.
do is I'll believe it and I will, hey, that one, I don't even know her, let me delete her from my phone quickly. But if you've
Delete.
banked enough,
Mm.
I will call you and say, hey, I'm hearing funny things.
Yes.
I will call you.
Yes.
So are you
Yes.
that organization? Are you that brand where your customers will call you first and ask, hey, there's a funny thing we're hearing. We know it can't be.
Mm,
What's
mm,
happening?
mm.
So that's another test.
Yes. I love it. I love
So if
it,
you're
Tom.
banked
I
enough,
love it.
you probably
Yeah.
will survive. You'll probably survive that run. You'll probably survive that crisis because you'll talk to
Mm. To
your
your
real
real customers.
your customers. You have banked with them, and so
Yes.
and we are talking
Yes.
about the emotional
Yes.
bank.
Yes.
So
Yes.
they'll think, I know
Yeah, I
that.
know. Yeah, yeah,
But if
yeah.
you have
Tom,
not
I
banked,
forgot. I forgot to tell people you're my friend. I know people, but you're my
okay.
friend. You best call me Tom and say you're hearing funny things. Yeah, yeah. Promise me now in front of witnesses here that you
Now
call me.
I'll call you.
But
Check. I'm hearing funny things. This, let me. I need to check. I will not go and
yeah,
I
yeah.
will not go
So
online first. I'll check first. And
yeah,
as businesses, we should be able to organizations, we should be in that position with our customers that they'll check, hey, what's happening here?
right.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing, Tom. I think that's our take,
I
a
don't know
big,
if
big
we've
take
answered that
home.
question. What did you do in a crisis?
You
You
have
fall
answered
back.
it, but
You
going
fall
back
back, but
to
then that also tells you to
mm,
insure yourself against that crisis.
yes,
You keep banking, and that's now CX language, which
yeah.
is
I don't know if
brand language.
yeah, it's
It's the same
brand
language.
language.
Same
Brand and
language.
customer experience are the same thing. That's my big take home for today. Tom, tell
Mm.
me, you have said to us here on big screen that people bring me money are not my customers. How now? How
Not
now?
all, not all of them are your customers. I have a concept of people buying and people buying in.
Please, yeah, hey, please, quotable quotes, my brothers and sisters on this call.
Those
People
those who bought
buying
in,
and people buying in. Talk to
those
us.
who
Talk to us,
bought in
Tom.
totally believe in you.
Mm,
They are loyal. They may even give you no money,
okay,
but they are going to, and you want enough of those.
okay,
They are ready.
okay.
When they are ready, they will come.
Okay. I think,
Then there, yeah,
yes, yes,
and
go
you
ahead.
want those ones. You want those who buy, and then there are those who have the ability, and therefore they actually come and pay. They give you money courtesy of, and I think this is where this is the crux of the matter. They give you money courtesy of buying into that brand, believing that brand. When you go back to that exercise where I said, go and talk to 3, 4, 5 of your customers. If you
Mm-hmm.
find that they buy for the reason you believe they should buy,
Mm-hmm.
or they could go, because that's not what your focus is on. Huh? If they buy from you because you are cheap, for example, and I'm not saying cheap is bad, huh? And
Mm,
you thought, wow, I'm premium, I'm giving you good service, and they're buying because you're cheap, that's not your customer. They're just giving you money. That's not your
mm,
customer. They need to buy into what there needs to be an alignment to what you're promising, back to the definition, and what you
yes,
deliver. If there's no alignment, I don't believe that, and that's just me. I don't believe that's a real customer.
right.
I'm not saying don't take their money, and that sounds like politics, but they're not your real customer.
Yeah,
They are not the guy.
yeah.
They're the guys who, when something happens, they will run. Immediately.
Mm,
They will run. They don't believe in you. But
You got you.
hopefully you can convert them.
Yeah, hopefully you can convert
Hopefully you
them. You
can
should see
convert
the light bulb. Yes, I hope you can see the light bulbs going off in my head, Tom.
them.
The thing
Yeah.
about buying in is so amazing. And buying in, even not necessarily buying with the dollars, with the shillings, but having bought in, even as a potential. Because just I will repeat, you know how we say here in experience management that your customer is a customer before, during, and after they engage with your organization, and I could say brand, before,
Yes.
during, and after. So this buy-in is buying in before, is buying in during they've actually bought in, and even after on separation that they may go and still be a brand
Yep.
ambassador, even at
Yeah.
that point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing, 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 amazing. I should ask you the last question because now we are about to run out of time and we don't want to not finish all the questions that came in. The last question for the day is exceptional service, exceptional customer experience. How do we start to tie this to brand from the first day? How do you tie it from the first day so that we are not tying it somewhere downstream? So somebody's asking the how. You've told us a lot of what and even when and who and how do we tie it in from the first day? Yeah, Tom?
Maybe I'll go back to when we are doing a brand consultancy exercise. Once
Yes,
we clarity, which is the first C,
yes.
the next thing to do is not communication. Remember, there's no C. There's no C of communication. Huh?
Actually, there's none.
Yeah, but people jump to that fast. Once
Hmm,
you're clear, the first thing to do is actually make sure there's clarity internally.
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 Uh-huh.
For a lot of brands you do, even those we've done brand consultancy for, when we've not been engaged throughout, what they do
Mm,
is, here, we are clear. Thank you. We know what our brand is. You know, the first thing they do, they
uh-huh.
jump. They jump and communicate outside.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
So
okay.
they have done if you are to bring it down to a family or a domestic situation, what they've done is gone out, invited people for a party,
Yes.
nothing ready. The people,
Uh-huh.
the hosts are not there. They don't even know. So people start knocking, say, we've come for this party. You're like,
Uh-huh.
oh, okay, you've come for the party. Which one? That's what too many brands do. You jump straight to communication. So the short answer is the first thing is making sure that
Mm,
internally, after being clear
mm,
about your brand, is everyone knows
mm,
this is what we have
mm,
promised to deliver. Take some
mm,
time, make sure it's clear
mm,
internally,
mm.
communicate it internally, then you go out and communicate. Then that will
Oh,
allow you to be able to start from the beginning.
right. And
So
Ruth
able to
Serem is
start
just
clear.
speaking into what you have said right now on the chat. Eh? When there's
Mhm.
she's asking when there's a disconnect between the internal culture and the brand promise that we are making externally, how do we bridge this? And that's sort of what you're saying. Do you want to say one or two things about it before we see how to start wrapping up?
So in a way, and this is to put it simply, a lot of
Yes,
CX does a lot of the internal work,
yes.
has to do a lot of internal work, and has to work together with the brand or marketing or communication to make sure, hey, we are saying the same, we are promising, But
Mm.
what are you promising? Let's agree what we are promising to make sure that it's out there being communicated and internally being communicated, being trained. You're doing a lot of dry runs. You're doing a lot of
Mm.
exercises, experiences to make sure that we're actually going out, what we're promising out there will match what is inside.
Yeah.
Others, I would
Yeah.
say, and it may sound harsh, if you're not sure if you're not communicating internally, just keep quiet. It's easier because you have no marking scheme.
Yikes.
Yeah,
Yikes. Yikes, Tom. That's a bit
yeah,
harsh, but we're here for harsh things. We are here for reality check. We are here for this. We are
yeah.
not here for just flowers and that will fall off and the petals and die. We are here
It's
for
actually a
the
waste of
stems and
money.
the
Just
roots.
emphasize
Yeah.
that it's a waste of money to go out and promise and you're not ready to deliver. It's a
Right.
waste of money. I would tell
Waste
marketing,
of
keep
money.
quiet.
Keep
Then
quiet.
you, yeah, you'll not be judged because you didn't put out a marking scheme. But if you
Yeah.
go out there and
Yeah.
put out what your communication is almost your marking scheme, then
Yeah.
internally you better be ready.
We
You better
better be ready.
before you invite people for that party, make sure they drink,
Yes.
food,
Mm,
nyama, and
mm.
everything. Eh?
Yama,
They don't invite
everything.
them. Others they'll come,
Yes.
maybe they might tribe them and say there was no food.
There was no food. And you know how an event without food is just
Yeah, what
rubbish.
happened? Yeah,
It's
he just
rubbish.
called
It's,
us.
it's nonsense. How can you
Yeah, he
call us
just
for an
called us. What
event
is
without
this?
food? That's no
Yeah,
event. Yeah, you'd rather have stayed in our houses. Like what? I think
exactly.
that's quite a thing. Two things. Before you give your parting shot, Tom, good people, if you want to find Tom, find his LinkedIn on the chat. It is coming up, his number, his email, so that you can carry on these conversations. We also have a WhatsApp platform where we have these discussions once a week, only on Mondays. So if you want to join, it's a very same space. If you want to join this and have more Q&A, please join the WhatsApp chat. That's also will be on the Zoom chat over here. Please pick that up. Tom, you have said hard things. Hey, I am I'm going to call myself to a meeting behind the blue tent. You see the theme is blue. I don't know, Tom, if you're my friend, you try to be in blue, I'm in blue, or because blue is the color of focus. And you've told us about clarity, constancy, yeah, and consistency, and that's the focus. What's the last thing you want to tell us this lunchtime before you dismiss us to go and chew? You know, Ruth, as Serema said, you've broken it down into bite-sized chewable pieces. What do you want us to chew on as the last thing that you say, Tom?
Many things. I think we set our own marking scheme. I think that's is ringing in my head. We set our own marking scheme, and I think we have no business failing if we have set our own marking scheme. But we need to set it,
Right,
but it
right.
doesn't come. Our brands can't become or happen. They need to be intentional about it.
We need to be intentional
Yeah,
about it. Wow,
yeah.
just wow, just wow. Thank you so much, Tom. I don't know what to say. I don't even know how to say it. Thank you. You have delivered beyond expectations. You're a formidable brand. Please take that away. Take that knowing that you are a strong brand and that we believe and we have bought in. We have not just bought, we have bought in. We are going to tell everybody who needs to know the things that you have said. You have told us that for sure we are setting the marking scheme. May we set marking schemes that are beautiful and that we go out there and audit by asking the customers, what do you think and how do you think about it? That our marking schemes will come with 10 out of 10 over A+, superseding expectations. So thank you, Tom, very much. We will engage with you over and over again. I think we need to call you back. We have not even started. There's many things you've said that we need to really do our homework and come back. Thank you all for coming. It's been a beautiful afternoon or evening or whatever planet you are from and whatever the weather is like, whatever time it is. Thank you for taking your time to be here. Let's do this again next month. And let's hear from you what it is you want to know, what it is you want to hear about, and we shall bring the right resource to you because the brand that is C-Service and the brand that is Life Skills Consulting is one that trains, educates, informs, and gets us to move and shake things in this continent. And as you can see, this has been one of those. So bye, everyone. Have a beautiful, beautiful week ahead. And thank you so much. Thank you, Tom. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye.